see Mr. Bemis' first on our. We're just here to check some vouchers and some people have some questions about your red or orange yesterday.
Do you want me to come up to the podium?
The last 3 weeks in hospital.
Do you want your books? I haven't cleaned them out yet.
I took mine out.
74 pretty good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Todd, what are you up to?
Oh, just about the same old, same old. So you have some questions on the annual report?
Yes, I did. Can you kind of walk through all of it? And my question was on the enforcement part. As it reads, there was no warning notices.
I don't think there were any warning notices sent out last year.
All right,
But there were in previous years.
all right.
Yes. So you want to just like start at the first page and
That'd be
go
fine
through it
if
a little
you-
bit? Okay, so the first page has got all the employees that we've had, and include a couple of summer helpers on there as well. And then the financial stuff, all the stuff that we get from Angie, like the mill levy and the county evaluation. You'll see that we had $208,000 in chemical sales. And at the bottom of that, it also shows our capital outlay fund. That's our reserve fund. We transferred $40,000 into the reserve fund at the end of the year. So this is money that's usually used for capital expenditures, building, trucks, sprayers, things like that. But I did talk to the Department of Ag, and we could also use that money to purchase some chemicals if we need to, because we didn't purchase anything at the end of the year. We had budgeted carryover of $177,000, and that's put in there by the auditor.
Right. Which we're gonna address that.
We will address that when we're
Budget
doing
year,
budgets. So
Because the auditor's putting too much money in, saying that he needs to carry that amount over, and it's hurting him at the end of the year when he's wanting to buy chemicals and stuff, that he's gotta reserve that much money to cover for next year, so.
you know, that's a quarter of my budget or close to it. So we'll address that once it's time for budget.
I did mention, if I can say,
Go ahead.
I did mention to Todd, I know last year when you guys were preparing budget, you were looking for some place to put some funding to keep it at the tax lid, and I know you put some in road and bridge because you didn't know where else to put it. So maybe this year that could go to help Todd or reduce that number. So just to keep in the back of your mind for later.
Okay, so then the next 4 pages will be survey worksheets. And this is my employees that are going out and surveying assigned sections from the Department of Agriculture. So we get 10 sections every year that we go out and survey for noxious weeds.
Todd, you mentioned the auditor a while ago, and your sales of 208, and I'm not throwing up any red flags, not at all. Do you have is your inventory audited to verify that everything's been documented?
We do inventory 3 times weekly. And then it's in the inventory at the end of the year when we do all of the equipment.
I didn't know to the extent that you're probably the only business in our county, in the county structure, that has sales like you do. And I'm just kind of curious to the extent of how much is audited there to verify that all chemical is being sold and
We have somebody that
not leaving
comes,
the way it's supposed to.
right. We have somebody that comes in from the Department of Ag and looks at some of our records, but they're primarily looking at restricted use pesticide sales.
Well,
So,
I'm sure they look at that restricted use.
oh yeah,
Because there's more chemicals under that now than what there used to be.
correct. The inspections we used to have pretty much regularly, like the Department of Ag would come in and go through our chemical warehouse and things like that. I don't know if it's budget cuts or what, but we don't get inspected like that very often anymore.
So my question was, if you brought in 200 cases of this, and you sold 100 of them, is 100 of them still there?
Mhm.
Okay, I just,
Well,
to
so
what extent is the verification down for?
we'll do a chemical inventory Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then if there's any discrepancies,
Okay,
we go back and we look at the 19 Gs and figure out where the problem may be.
so you do.
So we do that ourselves.
Okay, I'm not trying to throw a red flag out, but
No,
to what detail you went out on.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you are having quite a few dollars in percentage.
So we do that 3 times a week. And that way it narrows the field that we've got to go back and look at if there is a discrepancy, so. Okay, then, the next several sheets are gonna deal with, our, treatment summary. And that's gonna be from the chemicals sold for acres treated for each different noxious weed.
Todd, I noticed that on like upholstery stuff. Now we've got chemical sales, if I can find it. I marked it. In October, November, and December. Now is that for future use or?
A lot of times it is, and we'll have people that'll come in, at the end of the year to buy chemicals, just so they can use it on their taxes.
All right. That's kind of what I got, but
Yeah.
I've seen that and it just had questions on that.
And then the back page, is the one that shows the estimated acreage of noxious weeds. Shows the estimated acreage on private lands. And then shows our herbicide disbursement.
All right, on the fallow land, is that basically like CRP?
Well, we've got a spot for CRP. Fallow land, is just land that they're not doing anything with. Not necessarily in the CRP program,
All right,
but it's just fallow land.
all right.
Is there any questions on the herbicide disbursement?
When it's used for the county, how is that separated?
In what way?
In like the county road ditches, do we keep that separated?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Just pick one of the noxious weeds. It doesn't matter which one. Annual noxious weed eradication progress report. I'm looking at Johnson grass right here.
All right,
Acreage treated, you'll go down there. It starts with city, then it'll go to county, and there's our county
acreages
acreage treated for Johnson
Right.
grass.
and private,
Yes.
all right.
And then if we'll go back to that back page, with the, herbicide disbursement.
Yeah.
All of these are, the active ingredient. They're not actually stating the brand name of the chemical like Pasture Guard or something like that. So
All right,
if you have any questions on those, I can tell you what those are as well. But we sell most of the chemicals for Sarisa. I mean, that's our biggest problem.
yeah.
Are you guys going around and checking properties that have a large crop of Sarisa? Or are you, how do you go about getting with the landowner to say, hey, we need to do something about this?
So what we'll do if say it's a new instance, we'll find out who the landowner is, get the address from the appraiser's office, then we'll send them an information letter letting them know that their land is infested with a noxious weed and that it's their responsibility to treat it, so.
So up in the northwest area, there's one CRP grass that is just, I mean, overran. And the surrounding landowners are trying to keep it at bay, but when you've got a wildfire, you know,
Right.
beside you, it's inevitable, you're gonna be battling this. And to my knowledge, nothing has ever been sent to the landowner, or if it has, it's been.
So we are requested to go out and survey some CRP property as well. And when we do that, we let the landowner know ahead of time that we're gonna be going out there and doing this inspection because we were asked to do it by ASCS office. So we'll give them a little time to go out there and take care of the problem before we actually go out there and do an inspection. Because I don't think they're notified ahead of time that, you know, they're gonna have the county come look at it. So we'll let them know that we're gonna do it, and a lot of times that's all it takes is to get somebody to come in there, is letting them know that, hey, we're gonna be inspecting this for noxious weeds, so.
Isn't that more the NRC's office responsibility,
Well,
or
it's,
maybe jointly?
they ask us to verify their findings.
Because I do that, I know they do spot checks
Yes,
or something.
right.
But
So
if-
that's,
If somebody turns an issue in.
Correct.
To me, they'd also have the responsibility to check it out.
yes,
I didn't realize you went out and checked.
they
Because I know
request us.
NRC's got that accountability.
Mhm. I think they want us just to verify what they think they saw.
On Teresa, is mowing or brush hogging classified as controlling?
So they're reworking all of this in the state right now, and I'm not sure where that's gonna be, but that would be a cultural control. It would help reduce the seed infestation, but it's not gonna prevent it.
Gotta be moved before it puts seed on.
Well, and it'll still try to produce seed at, you know, 6 inches tall.
It'll still-
Yeah, you won't get the seed crop you would if it was 3 foot tall, but it'll still seed. So, they're reworking all this right now, so I'm not sure what to expect coming out of there.
Would it be all right down the line that I came down and talked with you and get a little more education on that?
Sure.
All right,
Yeah, absolutely.
all right. That's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
The K-State hosted, they got that big tour, or big plot area, 40 acres on 58 Highway going towards Ridley. They had that big tour last year. Should have been 100 people there, there was 8 of us there.
I had to miss it.
There was 8 of us there, and there were some fantastic results there, but they're still reviewing, still analyzing. It's only in the 3rd year, I think. And this is East West either. There's no,
It's huge problem.
there's no
Yes,
right way at this time to control it, but you sure suppress it.
Right. For you new commissioners that are in, Coffee County pays for 50% of the cost of the chemical for Sarisa. We only cost share 25% on the other noxious weeds, so.
I'm glad to see it.
We're doing what we can, the county's doing what they can to try to get as many acres treated as possible.
It's a huge battle. I know fighting it on my personal property and
One of the better control methods, it appeared, is burning in July. They had some different, they had 3 or 4 different repetitions of different situations. But one of them that did look pretty favorable was burning in either July or early August.
They're doing a lot of studies with the summer burning now, so.
putting it up for hay in late July, does that or putting the native up for hay, I misspoke, for hay in July, does that help or does that?
It'll help because there won't be any viable seed in July, so. That'd be a stress to the plant because you're mowing it. So it would help, but I would follow up with an application. Yeah.
That's what I ended up doing, so, all right. Todd, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Anybody else have anything? Okay,
Thanks.
So
thank you.
with that,
Hey, Todd,
this motion would be,
do you wanna
Oh,
land?
yeah, I forgot about that.
After you sign this, I'll get you a copy.
upon the recommendation of noxious weed director, move to approve and sign annual noxious weed eradication progress report 2020.
Also, moved.
Ron
I'll
moved,
second.
Jim seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 5-0.
the bail in that in July, late July, the chances are there's no seed set yet at all. In fact, a lot of times, mid-August, for seed.
I tested it before I went ahead because I had concerns.
My eyesight's not good enough to see that little seed.
It's small.
I think they laid on it, once the seat laid on it for like 15 years.
Oh, it will.
And it's crazy how long it'll lay.
And they say a fire will help it open up and start to grow. Yes, that'll,
But that's a good thing if you've got a spray program in place. You want as many seeds to germinate as possible. And then when you come in there with your application, then you knock it out a bunch of those. That's the key is first prevent further seed production.
and when you got neighbors, it's a hard situation.
Yes, it is. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys go into I forget who told me. You still,
Yeah, he's there.
Todd,
Todd,
Yes,
you guys go into a conference?
no, we're not gonna go this year.
Okay,
That's supposed to be next week,
That's the start.
just due to COVID and everything.
I was wondering how that, because I haven't heard of any starting back up, and then I don't remember who told me.
Well, we're one of the few organizations that are still having a conference, but
Okay,
I've made the decision not to be there this year.
hard to say anymore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rhonda has something to share with us. If I remember correctly.
Yes,
If I said it correctly.
yes. Tim wanted me to find out a little bit more about the PPP program for the farmers. And it's actually, the banks have an application from CB or SBA that they fill out, and it's called the Schedule F. It's a 1% interest loan, and it's for 10 to 24 months. I'm sorry, 10 to 24 weeks. It's for $20,833. At that time, at the end of 24 weeks, they complete a form for forgiveness. SBA comes in and forgives the loan, pays off the loan to the bank and the interest. And the farmers will get a letter that the loan's been paid off. They also have one for small businesses, and they just fill out another different schedule. It's Schedule F or C, and it's the same. It's used for payroll on that one, but it's again 1% for 10 to 24 weeks. They apply for forgiveness, and then that money's theirs. So, if you know anybody, I think Tim, you said you took advantage of the program.
I took advantage of it, used it, or using, or applied for it. And I just seen it would be benefit to try to get it out to our small businesses, because it seems like to me, it's not getting out that well to the people that needs to do it.
I called Carrie at the Citizen State Bank, and they've been working with Farmers State Bank customers, because Farmers State Bank's not doing it. But Central and First National are participating. And she said the accountants have been trying to get the word out to the farmers and the small businesses that this is available. But she said there's a chance that some of them are missing the information. So if we wanted to maybe put out a press release or something, I don't know.
Does a small business have to verify that they've had a 3-month loss in their,
She said it's just a simple application.
my understanding is they still have to show that they, during one quarter, or this quarter,
That'll not
they
preserve
have to show a 3-month loss
It's
to
a-
qualify.
It's a payroll protection program,
It's
and all they have
payroll.
to do is say, show that, to my knowledge anyway, that they used a certain percent, a high percentage of that money towards payroll. Other than that,
So they don't
that's the
have,
only thing that I know of as far as.
so there's nothing in it that where they have to show
COVID related or nothing.
well, that or a 3-month loss, a net loss.
From the farmer end, I know from my personal that it is qualified.
If a farmer would, but a small business would have different hoops to jump through.
Correct, but it's all both through the Small Business Administration
So the banks really don't have anything,
on that end.
no, they're just handling the money.
Basically, yes.
On the backside of this is everybody better be prepared to pay taxes on that money that you
Be
receive.
prepared.
Be prepared.
Because they have not
I'm
waived
sorry.
it yet, the first one or this one.
Well, Sheriff said she thought it was gonna be, it wasn't going to be affect her income. That's what she told
They
me.
haven't passed that yet.
That
So
would
here's my thing is you got small businesses that got these loans because they didn't make the money. And now you're gonna turn around and charge them 38% tax or whatever that magic number is. And then these businesses aren't gonna have the money to pay the taxes that they got from the government. And so it's gonna be a chain of events.
But the first round of PPP, a year ago, that's all been forgiven.
It's been forgiven, but you still pay taxes on it. If you got $500,000 in PPP, you better be prepared to pay taxes on it. The loan was forgiven, but it's still income to your business, so you have to pay taxes on it.
See, that's different than what I've been involved in a couple of plant operations or business.
The loan has been forgiven on those, but you better be prepared to pay the taxes on it.
To my knowledge, it's still income, yes.
Yes. Which is gonna be catastrophic to some people.
Well, for some,
Because they make you spend it. They make you spend it. You can't hold it back for taxes. They make you spend it on wages, so it's gone.
Yeah. Kind of, but again, well, we're going a long discussion on that.
Do we want to put a press release out? Is that something we,
I'm for it if it helps the local,
I mean,
the
it's all,
local small businesses. Yeah,
I'm assuming you can contact Peterson or whatever.
Yeah.
Say just, that this is out there and available, make sure,
I'll let
make
you-
them aware at least.
Okay, okay,
thank you for your help.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Everything right down in there, right?
We started, yes. I think I did it right.
Not those? All right.
That your life. Lifetime, nobody's on.
Here. Well.
New county phone, you'll have that problem.
I may not.
Morning, Mike.
We have the executive sessions today, Wayne?
I hope not. Hey, well, I'll wait one.
Word you just used is like probably to me, so.
I'll wait one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably not too positive.
I don't have one. How about that? I'm actually at the high school today, so I've already been there. I came to
Oh, here.
See, if I was muted, then I have to go through the feedback. but-
Well, that's probably good place for the
Are you
chairman.
taking classes?
For some reason, I got invited to present.
Good, good. That's good.
So, Mr. Chairman, may I have permission to speak?
Yes.
Like doing that?
So I was working with Wade last night on this draft for the CP5. So this is just the draft form, so if everybody could take one and pass it around.
This should be the one we basically approved. It will not reflect that 30 cents, no.
And I talked to Wade, and he did some modifying on the spreadsheet, so when this is sent out to department heads, it will have,
The 30 cents on it.
and so that's just in draft form, that memorandum, because you guys may want to make some modifications to it.
Probably sign that.
Oh,
So there, part of the reason why I showed up is there were two implementation options that Lisa had sent out. I don't remember, back in December. They were spreadsheets, and within those spreadsheets, it had sort of a list of all the current employees as of that date, where they fit within the current pay structure, what the current hourly rate was, and then what the suggested new hourly rate under the new steps would be. The complication with that, and I didn't remember what it looked like, I had to go back and look at it. But what I realized what it didn't have was the 30 cents. And the 30 cents changed everything because all the figures wouldn't be accurate. So I took the spreadsheet and I made the change because I didn't want it to, and if there's an error, then it's my fault.
Can I say something? I don't mean to interrupt you, but apparently we haven't all communicated well because you guys wanted me to get a hold of Lisa to find out about getting the new spreadsheet. And so I did, and I asked her to include the 30 cents. And so she sent it to me first thing this morning because I recognized that when this was originally produced to you, the 30 cents was not included in that. So whether you want to use Wade's or you want to use Lisa's, I just want you to know that that's what we discussed the other day. And later I figured out that 30 cents wasn't there also. So we kind of did double duty there. So however you want to handle that, just let me know. Because I had to go ahead to get stuff going like you guys told me to with CIC.
Right.
And so that's where that came.
Are they the same numbers?
Well, that's what I'd want to see is if
They're the same number.
the numbers match up, because that's what I was gonna say, whatever I've done, somebody needs to double check, because, and I think anytime we're dealing with figures, having another set of eyes to look at it is always the best option. So I went through and computed it, and it was actually pretty close to the same number Don had mentioned. What the change would be is 83,055. But that's including some employees that back when this spreadsheet was created are no longer employees with the county, and there's been some attrition since then. So I had to change and modify some of the formulas, but I think, you can have what
Right. You given to Donna. So I can go ahead and compare and see. And then, because CIC called yesterday and I told them so I'm trying to get things rolling there. So we'll definitely check that over.
Yeah, I don't think any of us thought about the 30 cents not being
Right,
there.
no.
So yeah, it'll be a little bit up there.
So on the one that you have, you need to get a magnifying glass out to look at it, because
I'm out on that today.
Yeah. So what I did is I added a column that has pre-30 cents hourly rate, the current hourly rate that includes the 30 cents, and then the new hourly rate that Lisa had suggested that adds the 30 cents to it, because that was originally what was in her calculations. Now, if that's what was intended, I don't know, that's the way in my head it worked. But if I'm wrong, that's on me, because that's what I did. I pulled it up trying to figure out what it would look like and how it could be, the easiest way to present to department heads, so they would have a sort of a guide and see if it matched up with what they were thinking. But the other part of that is Lisa sent 2 implementation options. And this is one of them, and then there's another one that's an entirely different spreadsheet. So the one that you have just highly summarized is the one that matches the most with where the employees in the county currently are, to match up with the new salary structure, whatever you want to call it, classification schedule.
Yeah, that's the one you're talking about, January 18th, correct?
Well, the one from January 18th isn't those are amendments to what she previously submitted.
Right.
After making contact with department heads, after we had that meeting.
Correct, and that's the one I assumed that we were gonna go with.
Yeah, I think, so my understanding is what you agreed to was the original plus the amendments that occurred and are
January
supported
18th.
January 18th.
And there wasn't too many amendments in it.
Right.
My understanding, this is only 2, I think. This spreadsheet has just been passed out, and I just looked at 8 or 10 of them. But my thought is that 30 cents would be over and above, what we received in January. And it looks like the 8 or 10 I checked, that's what the intent is. There's a lot of red lines going across there. Is that just because of the way the computer put it in there? Is there any reason for it? Some of them red lines.
Red line, the red includes people who, my understanding is they're the attrition.
Could be a lot.
Attrition, they're no longer with the county.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I put it?
Yes.
So Wade, did you see the email that I forwarded you this morning from Lisa?
I was at the high
Okay.
school and then I came straight here.
I
and then
forwarded
go
it to you.
back to high school.
And I also forwarded it to the rest of the commissioners too. She just kind of gave a brief overview of the difference between option 1 and option 2. It sounds like the way she explained it in the email was option 1 places people on the schedule at the step closest to current pay without losing money.
And that was the original intent, was to nobody lose money, but you have to see where we actually sat as far as whether we're compensating our employees correctly or not, so.
And then it says, then they should get a 1-step increase for 2021 performance.
That,
I didn't
the
know
step
if you-
increase was suggested not to do till April, that's why we're trying to get the salaries in as it is now, and then it may not be April when we do the step increase, it may be more like May or June, depending on the timeline for Angie, I would assume.
Well, actually, can I speak?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
You want to turn your mic on, or is it sound?
I would like to be able to go ahead and make any and all changes now. So if we can get them at the step they should be at right now, and then plus if they're eligible, I think everybody's supposed to move up a step from what I understood from Lisa and the original salary study,
It'd still be up to the department heads.
if they're qualified, right? And so if department heads fill out the CP5 form to assist me, then we can go through each employee one by one to make sure, number one, are they at the step they're supposed to be? And then if they're supposed to move, are they moving up? And then we can do a one-time, hopefully dump into our software system, but I have to have a spreadsheet put together in order to make that happen. And then we're gonna double check and recheck and check again, so.
That makes more sense, actually. I mean, if we were gonna do the step increase in April anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, include the 30 cents plus the step increase, then one time you're done that.
And then moving forward, as we go, we can make our own changes each time, but this is gonna be a massive thing. And in order to get it done in a month's time, hopefully, we'd like to just make it all at one time and be done with it.
And that's part of why the goal was to figure out the spreadsheet and get that raw data, because what I think is gonna happen, we're gonna have some department heads who are filling out their forms and will turn it in, and the numbers may end up being different because they don't have this. So then the goal is gonna be, if this is what the idea is, then this raw data to be provided to each of the department heads to at least have it to review and take into consideration. And these were Lisa's suggestions. The only curveball was the 30 cents. And that's the idea behind the scenes. The other thing that I think needs to probably be made clear, and Don mentioned it to me the other day, is this thing, the old pay tier structure is now gone. So we're gonna have to put together a group, and I don't know who it is. I can be included, because the policy manual is gonna have to be modified, because the provisions in the policy manual that reference this are not gonna match up, and that needs to be done sort of simultaneously. I'd suggest you figure out who would want to be on a committee, and they can be on the revision committee for the policy manual for the purpose of doing this. And then there'll also probably be some other policy changes that will need to be made as you go through and have the meetings to cover the rest of the compensation study. The second part of that is the Form CP-4U, and this goes to Don's point. It was not affected by what happened. And I just want to make sure that there may have been some confusion. That's the sheet that has all the department heads and elected official salaries on it. That's the CP-4U, right?
Right.
So that's really all I have, and I just wanted to.
I just want to throw this out there. I've always been on the policy committee. I'm only gonna be here 2 more years. I'm gonna suggest that we put Jesse on that policy committee, brand new man, he knows nothing about any of them. Well, I'm sorry.
Whatever did you?
But I think a new person on it, because there's a lot of changes, would be the perfect thing to do. So I will hand my part to you.
You just got dark shot at you, Bob.
Yeah.
And I'd like to also remain on that committee because with the dealing with payroll, that really is an important part of our job. So I'd like to be able to have some, huge input in that if possible.
How many
So
people?
Donna, would you scratch that off of mine?
I think,
Put it under Jesse, please.
I would suggest that whoever deals, that Angie or her proxy be a part of it, because it is, a lot of what's in the policy manual is one change in a word can completely disrupt and make the payroll side of it flip upside down. So that makes sense. But Commissioner, you can kick me off the island and have somebody else.
Well, I think you better have some legal,
I
better have some legal
You bet.
eyes in there too.
That's what I figured you'd say, but, and then you might ask some other department heads who, might feel that they're invested in seeing that the wording and they get it right. And I don't know who that would be.
What do you think
I
about
don't
the
wanna-
new sheriff? I mean,
We had the sheriff, engineer, county appraiser, myself, county attorney or counselor, however you want to. And I think that was it.
I don't have any opposition to that. That makes sense.
It wasn't too big, but it wasn't too
I was
small.
gonna say, you don't wanna get it too big.
What do I want each department head,
You
or
have 4 or
not?
5, you need an odd number if you have 5 on it.
Yeah.
I would think it'd be sufficient.
And I thought we did a great job last time, so.
Right now, too much, there won't be a lot of changes in the policy until we get into the benefit, all the benefit package. That's where some of those policy changes are gonna be taking place, or could take. We haven't got into those, reviewing them totally yet.
So that's just me trying to be proactive. And the other thing that I'm gonna recommend to keep the ship steered in the right direction is, as you know, the next for 3 weeks, I don't know if it's starting next week, there's gonna be a review of the recommendations in the compensation study report. I would suggest that somebody, it can be me, it can be you, it can be whoever, you're focused on that particular area. So for example, Tim, you might look at it, you might be focused on longevity, and Bob look at it, he's focused on something different, and then you come in and nobody's on the same page. I would earmark and select for each one of those days to talk about that, whatever that subject matter is. That would be my suggestion. And that'd be the only thing you talk about that day. Does that make sense?
Get that one discussed and move on to the next one.
Right.
Makes sense.
Because otherwise you're gonna stall out and then we're not gonna get anywhere.
Do we need to pick somebody to make that list?
Yeah, I mean, somebody needs to pick it, and then whatever those topics are, I think it's now added to the agenda, then probably have a hash mark and have those topics added as what the discussion is gonna be. So if any county employees or members of the public wanna hone in on that particular subject matter, they know for that date.
I would say for the legal eyes, I would nominate you to choose topics.
Okay.
It's just my thing.
I'm fine with that.
I think we'd all support that.
I just needed my marching orders, and I can do that.
I was gonna suggest Don, just because he's been inside and out of this thing.
Well,
You were
He has.
I'll be more than happy to be a part. Be more than happy to be a part of it.
But, and I realize, yes, Don, I think all we're looking at for somebody to say, this week we're going to do this part,
Yeah.
this week we're going to do this. I don't think we're, is that, am I,
Mhm.
or am I totally wrong?
What the focus area is gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all we're looking at, the focus area.
I get it.
So that ahead of time, once you know what the focus area is, you can review that prior to that Monday session and sort of have an idea what the wording is and what it asks for, and then what your thoughts are.
How many focus areas do we have? Do we know?
Several.
Several, because I have a focus that I want to focus on too.
But
A couple of them, so I guess the question is, how do we tell you what, we still come tell you what we think you want to take a look at?
Well, I was just gonna pick what's in there and what the recommendations are, and
Okay.
what, by the time,
And we'll come across probably everything then eventually.
whenever it gets to that topic, you can say, I've been waiting for this one.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
That would be my thought.
I don't recall how many topics there really are right now. To me, there's probably only 2 and possibly 3 that I think we need to give a lot of attention to. You know, I agree. I don't think we want to stretch this out for 2 months. My thought is if we could decide on maybe the top 2 topics, maybe 3, and which are the more important ones. I'm not saying they're not all. And then the last 3 or 4, maybe group them together, get it all done in 4 weeks time frame.
So how about this, for the first one, what are your high priority topics, and they can be established from this point forward? That will be the first section, that everybody's on the same page. You've got yours, let's see if they're the same, then go from there. What do you have on your mind, Don?
Probably the top 3 that I would be taking a look at would be the longevity pay. I think it has some modification in it. Vacation, to me, probably needs to be modified just a little bit, to a pretty good span between 2 years and 10 years with no increase in vacation. And that would be an improvement there on my thought, and very little update on it. And then the third one, see, vacation and longevity. Well, vacation and sick leave, you know, we got all of our department heads and salary people are not on a salary or not on vacation or sick leave policy, whether that needs to be a part of it or not, I don't know.
That's one for me.
So longevity, vacation, and sick vacation for salaried employees. Those are three topics that I,
To me, they're,
okay,
because I think you know, there's three or four that, yeah, they're important, but probably don't need much change in them, if any. I think we need to kind of set a time frame and have this all done in 4 weeks.
sure. Do those topics fit into what your topics are, Bob, or are they different?
His top one was my top one.
Okay, so,
I'm good with it. I mean, I just wanted to know how we were gonna pick.
yep, well, we just got
Did good.
3 6, and I would put those on, add those to the first session. And my suggestion would be that those parts of the compensation study be reviewed in advance, and then if there's a way to get what the current policy says and have what it says sitting next to what the current one says, then that will be the easiest way to have that discussion instead of, well, what does it say? And trying to figure that out.
I concur.
Then that way we can move hopefully through it quicker and make the changes and then send it to the, whatever the committee is for review and consideration.
Anybody else have anything to add to Don's list? I like those are the top three.
Top three, roll them and
Hot topics.
see what happens.
See, it makes more sense to do it that way, and then you kind of have an idea of what's coming ahead.
Want to try to do that first and this next Monday, or is that too quick?
It's scheduled for March 8th is your first discussion.
I'm sorry.
Your first discussion is scheduled for March
March
8th,
8th.
unless you want to back it up to March 1st.
A week and a half, so I think in a week and a half, since it apparently is gonna be,
Yeah, March 1st is too quick, I think.
Yeah.
so now everybody's put on notice. I think that's the right way to do it, and I agree.
Yes.
So is there any reason then to send out this CP5 paperwork? If you're gonna do a spreadsheet, is there any reason to send out this?
Well, I've already sent out the
Corresponding.
CP5 in email, and I was gonna send out the spreadsheet that Lisa sent today, plus you guys wanted me to explain to employees, because we need to let them know that after their evaluation, if employees are eligible to move a step, that they can go ahead and do that, and let them know that the 30 cents is included. They don't, because I've already had questions, people are wanting to add 30 cents, so I think I can clarify that in an email and send them the spreadsheet that they can use. But
Yeah, as long as we have an updated one, including that 30 cents, and then if they have a department head, or excuse me, an employee that qualifies for a step increase, I don't know who that is.
And I'm gonna
Correct.
need these returned back to me as well, Donna. I mean, I've got to work on this quickly. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, normally what we do is we make up notebooks with all of the department CP5 forms.
Right,
And you
but I-
guys have a work session, but,
Right.
I know
and I'm
it's
always giving
different
a copy
now.
too. Yeah.
well, I always give you a copy of your own book.
Right, but department heads have turned them into me also. I think that was in the thing, so. Anyway, this is a different situation, so I just.
Right,
need to
so that's why I
quickly-
didn't know if this correspondence needed to be sent or not. To have the department heads complete the information, or if just your office was gonna do it.
I think it would probably be easier if I sent it, but that's up to you guys.
No, I mean the CP5 form.
I've already emailed it to departments.
Yeah, I do know that, but, I mean, you didn't
Yes, I'm
say,
confused.
that's what the purpose of this memorandum is to explain when it's due, and then included is the sheets that they need to go along with it to fill out the CP5. And then to say, performance evaluations need to be completed by March 31st. It's just something they send out every year.
Right, but I thought you guys told me the other day to take care of doing that. I guess I'm confused.
I guess I
Yeah.
didn't understand that.
There's been a lot going on.
I think we advised Angie to get the CP5 sent out to the department heads and. you
With the
know,
It was
updated pay
part of it.
scale,
Yeah.
because,
And I would concur with that, because I'm pretty sure we thought it was time was of the essence for her and the computer system and this and that and the other,
So just
Yeah.
scrap this then.
yeah.
Okay, and don't have a work session or CP5 notebooks or anything.
well, I think, let me get the spreadsheet and get things sent out to people, and then here Monday, we can kind of reevaluate
If
where
we
we
see
need to go, what
something
we're
more.
gonna do, and that's okay. Because right now, I gotta get a game plan going here, so. And CIC's gotta take a look at what I have. I intended on giving you more updates on Monday regarding that, you know, once we kind of see how things are moving along.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that's.
let's just proceed that way, and that way we just get their stuff.
Okay, so I won't do anything on the CP5 forms or make notes.
You can make some notes, and then if you,
I mean, your notebooks that each one of you get with each department's CP5. That's what I'm talking
yeah,
about. Okay, so I won't make those.
okay.
Can we just hold off until Monday and we can
Yeah.
readdress it at that point? Because if things, see how they start looking, and I can give you a copy too, and then on Monday, we can kind of figure out what we're gonna do there, once I get more information from CIC, and before you just decide you're not gonna look at them, because I don't.
But we want to look at them, but,
Right,
yeah. Too many, you want too many hands in it either.
right, that's what I'm trying to avoid. 'cause
Have you discovered, Angie, if you can make those entries ahead of time and then when the time comes, you can dump it?
That's what I'm still working with
Still
CIC
trying to
on.
discover that.
Yeah, I talked to them yesterday, and they think there's a way we can do that, but I told them we don't want it to happen, what happened with the 30 cent. I mean, even though it affected like 5 or 6 people, we don't want that to happen with this. So, I'm gonna get the spreadsheet to them, like I said, I just got it this morning for Lisa, and I'm gonna get that sent out to her or to CIC to have them look at it and figure out what I'll need to do. And then, I was going to hopefully have more information for you on Monday.
And then if you see something, I guess. You know,
Whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
I'll do.
you know, I mean, if you see something that we didn't see or whatever.
Yep, I just wanted to
Sound
make sure.
good?
I'll be leaving. I'll be at the school for the majority of the rest of the day.
I spoke with our economic development director, he'll start March 8th, he's gonna probably, I was gonna hook up with him, just do a little tour, if you will, of the city and the courthouse next week.
Have we found an office for him yet?
Actually gonna move Donna into treasurers,
No,
or, excuse me,
the praise.
appraisers. I said treasurers,
So we can-
appraisers, over on Connie's side. And then he'll just go right in there.
We gave it any thought for is that Heidi? Doing the planning and zoning?
No, haven't as of yet. This is, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how to look at that one.
Okay.
I probably ought to have a discussion on that too, I guess, but
That's one that wouldn't have to happen immediately. We could probably delay that potential move.
Well, I mean, she's got an office down there, but it's
yeah,
just,
at least she has an office
it'd be
now.
so much easier for her to be here, I would think, convenient.
No, I mean, it's been down there for, well, since they built it, so.
Right.
I can understand she's doing more zoning now than anything. I don't know, I just haven't really thought about it myself, I don't know if anybody else has. And she is very good at what she does.
She does, she does a good job.
Kind of like when we have those hearings, everything In line and in order.
Well, you know, and I don't know, I mean, is it that big of a deal? It comes out of road and bridges, highway department payroll versus from somewhere else?
It'd be courthouse general probably
Yeah.
if you were to do anything there.
Road and bridge really that strapped for money? I mean, it comes from the same pocket, I guess, along with
Mhm.
Rob Peter, Big Wall.
That's kind of what we're doing for office space here now, so.
Right.
And to follow up on that, because that made me think of Goldberg. I sent an email to Goldberg indicating that the board was reviewing the last statement and there were some questions. And for Goldberg to give me a call. And Donna's copied on that email as well, because they originally had sent the statement to Donna. So once I get in touch with them, explain to them what the questions are, hopefully I'll have some answers. Until they call me back, I'm gonna hold them tight.
Well, the steel Angie got from Modern Air is nice, but I don't wanna be stepping on their toes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I simply.
I would personally approve moving forward with this stuff. I don't know if y'all read over, but.
But if we pay Goldberg
To figure it out for us, and why are we?
$200,000 to figure it out,
That's where I'm getting.
it could have hired Modern Air for.
We're doing Goldberg's work for them.
I actually had Bob Bernheide here yesterday from Modern Air to do a walkthrough and evaluate, or he's gonna provide me with an evaluation, and there's no charge for that on what it would take to implement that in all of our HVAC units. And so he said probably later this week or next week, he'd have something just for informational purposes, whether we want to go forward or not, but I just thought I'd let you know that.
Well, again, food for thought, whether we're gonna let Modern Air proceed. Like I say, I myself, with the given the days, I think they're going, the sooner we can get the courthouse COVID friendly, virus friendly, I'll use that word from here out, the better off we are. I mean, it's not just COVID, it's any flu, whatever, so.
Anything else for me before
Once again, anything else on the jail study,
that's one of my questions that I'm
to
gonna
them?
ask, because I've not heard anything, so.
No, what? Bring myself back up to speed, were we not looking at what it would cost to make the existing jail more efficient and safe or whatever, and then as well as the rest of it?
The words that I used, I believe, we were presented what I call the shiny new Ferrari, but what about the repairs to the, whatever you want to call it, the Winnebago that we have? And what would it take to retrofit the jail? Now, behind the scenes, I've asked this question to Mr. Goldberg, and highly summarized, he indicated that he's been a part of 300 plus jail designs. And I asked him, how many jail designs have you retrofitted the existing jail? And retrofitting may not be the right word, but that's my word. To the point where you didn't build a new structure and you just came in and kind of renovated. He said, out of the 300, I think he said maybe 6. He said that the issue is to get the current jail up to current, whatever the jail accreditation company is, or the national, I don't even know what it's called, but to get it up to par requires a whole lot of upgrades and a lot of things that might cost more money to the county versus building, and what sort of that cost benefit analysis. Now, one of the things he mentioned, for example, you have to drill holes into existing concrete and to run new lines and to do different things. And what is the cost of doing that? I don't know. That's outside my wheelhouse.
Labor intensive.
His big point, if I remember correctly, one of them, what we're gonna do with the prisoners during construction. Is, he.
Well, you'd have to farm them out. I mean,
Yeah.
And, you know, right now, we're not in an overflow situation. We're able to manage.
Everybody's housed here now.
Yeah, everybody's house here right now, the inmate population is not what it was, but that could change tomorrow. And I don't think you can really predict how that's gonna happen. It was surprising how many people we had in the Coffee County Jail that we had to farm out during COVID. You would expect it to not be what it was. And then we tried really hard, through the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's department, and the court, to get people out that didn't need to be in jail. And some of them that, you know, maybe they would normally in other situations have sat in jail with COVID in mind. You just don't want to take any chances, so.
That was another thing. Did any of them did any of the shots, has any of the jail population been vaccinated?
That, I can't tell you, that would be a sheriff question.
I just didn't know if there's long-termers in there or not. Or,
You know, there's some that have been in for an extended period of time, some that have recently been, there were some that were in there for an extended period of time and now are in DOC custody, because they were sentenced and sent to prison. Some that they were serving sanction time and they will be out at the conclusion of their sanction. So I know there's 2 or 3 that are in right now that they've got short stays. So, but, you know, it seems like you have one that their time expires and you add 2 more. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
the nature of these.
And I think, I mean, when it's cold out, you don't see as much activity as once it starts warming up. Once it warms up, people start getting out and there's just more activity there. I think that's common all across the board.
So basically, back to the Goldberg deal. So we're still waiting on information to retrofit the existing jail now.
Last I knew, the designs of the current structure were being provided to Goldberg, so Goldberg could use them, review them and look at what it would take, and that's the last I heard. I know that Randy, when he was here, he located the old jail structure, or designs and blueprints, and that was being provided to Goldberg. But it is vital whichever direction the county goes, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I put on my taxpayer hat and I don't know what the cost is for retrofitting, what it would cost versus new, then I don't think you need anything. And that's just me talking as a taxpayer. I need to know why you need something new and why what you have can't be modified to meet the needs. And if you can't explain that, then I think it's dead in the water. That's my opinion.
I agree. And that's what I hear out in the general public more than anything, that when, you know, it's been the topic that when Wolf Creek goes offline, you know, how you're gonna financially support everything that you have.
Raise taxes.
That's what people don't want.
Yeah.
And that,
So you gotta cut something out.
from any government level. So,
The jail roster has been in the paper every week. It's definitely lower here during the wintertime than it has been the last 3 or 4 months. It's been a fairly decent low number, but there's 3 or 4 of them that's been in there for a while and gonna be there for a while, so. But, I don't think we've had anybody farmed out for any substantial numbers, probably for 3 months.
It's been a while since anybody's.
It's been a while. Because the jail roster has been less.
So sometimes when you have multiple code defendants and with the size of our jail, communication between co-defendants in that small of a facility is somewhat of a problem, and inmates end up being creative in how they communicate with each other. That's just the way it is. That's how it was when I was in Allen County as well. So to keep inmates from communicating with each other, you farm them out. And that's just, but that would happen whether it was full or there were only a few people in the county jail. I'll get you information on Goldberg as soon as I have it.
Thanks, Wade.
Thank you.
And it may be that I just say you need to come here and explain what's going on.
For what they're being paid, that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah. So,
I'm fine with doing that.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that way.
Terrible. I feel better it wasn't my phone. It's out in the hallway.
Did that shut the?
No, it doesn't help. I'm buzzing.
I had a voicemail come through, I almost wondered when it comes through, the voicemail comes through. Messes with that.
It could. I don't know.
It's hard telling what's
When you're
interfering.
around the computer, it's got speakers on it, and you get a text message come through, sometimes it messes. with
Yeah,
the
you hear the speaker. Sure.
My computer especially does that for my phone.
It might be. I have to put the phones in a bucket over there along the south wall when I come in. Who has this McGrath? Can I get another one of these? This is yours. I'm on to take it for you to nominate.
I get you a copy, Jessica.
I either, yeah, I would like to
Start second. I'll move it. All right. I'll move that here. Let me put these on.
do the shredding.
All right, thank you.
Pardon? Yeah, most of them pretty quick. Here's one for $38 for association. We got that much one, I didn't recall.
Did we give them some, I don't know, this year, a couple of years ago, we there was a $30,000 deal into it or something.
See, last year we paid for that chain like cancer, paid for that over and above the budget.
We give them 10, and then I could give them another 10 for promotions or something. I don't know. You don't have to,
This is 2018.
you have to have someone else. I don't know. They may have that dynamite, though, they may have accumulated. Which is fair.
I'm glad it's fair board. I know we contribute funds every year. I have no problem helping all these young kids, but I think, I'm not sure that 38 was in our budget for each year.
That's what, yeah, it was. That's what's approved on the budget. when they
That's what we
call.
did sign up for the budget during April.
I thought that was a little odd myself, and I double checked it. You guys have approved
And
that.
I have no problem with budgeting the fair board. I mean, for what they did for our kids.
That's what was on the official published
I just
budget,
couldn't remember. I remember the 28, I don't remember the extra 10.
unless there was an error or something, but that's what was approved and published, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's bad.
Okay, so this is what they submitted for evaluation. County support, this is the commission for it. And then there's another one, fair buildings. This time, so it's broken down.
Thank
And just so you know, Missy, too, in addition to the budget book, once the budget's published, there's nothing we can do except make a correction, or unless you guys want to republish. So
Okay,
it's whatever's been published and final, that's.
pretty much.
Miss something.
So, Cyrus, people died. Four, actually, two kids, the mom and the boyfriend, yeah. Insane to hear it. And there was a lightning storm. Ooh. Two kids, the mom. Yeah, it was in the middle of it. Two kids, the mom. Boyfriend, whatever.
You got glasses on.
I've got glasses. Maybe. I guess I better start looking at staples. Is the lake TV paid through the sheriff's department?
Yes.
Why? It used to be the sheriff's department was in charge of it. Now the sheriff's department is actually not in charge of the lake.
Right.
We as a commission accepted that responsibility when they made that motion. Tom is just a contractor.
Right.
So it really shouldn't be coming from the sheriff's budget. It probably should be coming from the general.
That's true. They probably just have continued doing what they were doing prior to the change that you guys made, so, I can let Tom know.
That should not be coming from his budget, probably.
I will let him know.
I won't argue it.
I'm sure he'll.
I won't argue it.
Probably won't. But I mean, really, he shouldn't be penalized for that. When he actually just contract, the sheriff's department is not in charge of it.
Then basically Wolf Creek reimbursed the county for, then Wolf Creek basically reimbursed the county, give so much money to police it or whatever.
Yeah,
Actually,
but-
no, I'm wrong. I had a thought pop in my head, I'm sorry. But we have a department for lake, and I'm sure it's paid out of lake, which is under general.
I think that was.
If it says sheriff, then it should say lake. If it's not, it's got some-
Well,
I didn't mean to know.
No, you're fine. I do the same thing. It pops in my head and before I forget it, I got.
Better spit it out, or you're gonna forget it.
Okay, it does say lake.
So we do
So
get
it's-
money,
There is,
like
Yeah.
100, I don't know, 100.
That's just for a little.
I can't remember, yeah, or something.
And then,
Well, it was in with the sheriff's stuff and that's
Yeah.
why, okay, but it does say lake. So, okay, I just didn't think that should be coming out of the sheriff's budget.
Yeah, I knew better, but I think when you said it was
Okay.
coming out of the sheriff, it kind of threw me there for a minute, so.
But you know, Wade is right about one thing. When he said that as it gets warmer, people get more active and get out. My phone is not ringing so much. The last week is it? Bet didn't ring that many times all month. That's not. Mhm.
Lindsay, hello? How far?
But I didn't give it back.
Did you confiscate his phone, did you?
No,
I did.
he was trying to find a place to hide it. Thought it was the speaker, but I just told Brad, he said, we're not using it. I said, can we turn it off?
You ever know where her humming,
Buzzing.
terrible,
Yeah, it
driving me,
screws up my hearing.
I couldn't hear it.
You couldn't hear it?
You couldn't hear it? Oh, that was the only thing I could hear.
Yep.
Must've been a real low pitch.
It kind of was.
Well, that's like, if it'd been high pitch, I would've heard.
More like an AM snow
Yes, that's what I compared it to.
continuum, you know, just.
I'm sure tractor pulling my ears aren't that good anyway. Cause you didn't worry about wearing ear protection.
No, that's good.
Them straight pipes don't make enough noise if you got ear protection on.
You can't hear that cylinder.
No.
I had my first one last Thursday.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Lindsay, this is me.
I got mine now. I was set up to do it the week before that, but then Jerry's, we had a meeting, we had to go to take it. And so I got my first one last Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And I was sick with missing, maybe the second 24 hours. In the sun launch, yeah. He had like 48 hours. So it affects different people.
Different ways, yeah.
See what I got? Oh, okay.
It's interesting.
We're gonna take a short break. Or time.
That'll be fine, I'll get these checks caught up. Which I can pass you the box wherever you want.
I'm sorry.
I can pass you this box whenever you want.
Okay, I'm ready.
These are new tires for went to the county.
We can drive it in Cincinnati over to the county, and then you turn.
Well, I'm trying to see how many miles is on
I never thought to look at that. It's got a whole lot more hours on it than it does miles.
it. Right.
It does.
Oh, I can't. 204 miles?
No,
No, there's 67,000.
57,000. 25 for set on 2020.
There's a 20,000. This is, so they put new tires on a brand new vehicle, they might have.
Well, it was brand new. That was the one that went from the sheriff's department to the,
There's a 2024 F-150
oh, one,
Super.
that's different.
So this is brand new, and they put new tires on it. When it comes from factory, they probably, I don't know if they have to do something with the ratings
Yes,
for the speed.
DOT ratings for that kind of,
For the speed,
for the speed.
yeah.
You just can't.
Wonder if I could use that on my kids. You can't speed.
Can't speed.
Message. Since you brought that up.
Yeah, the very last page.
Okay.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, the first one had 67,000 miles. Probably another engine had 100,000 on it.
I'm sure it's got 50 years out of time.
Shutter and taking it off.
Probably a U-joint or carrier brand.
Well, it looked there, it covered off the rear end.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you had it. Saw the green ones out there.
Yeah, I got
You
some.
need to get them out on the road.
Yeah,
They don't make any money sending it.
I know. Need to get some people back on.
He had this for 2 years.
He bought it new. He bought it new.
That's pretty good. As far as mileage, putting it on.
As far as the mileage. Too bad it didn't have an hour meter on it.
Oh, they do. They do.
They do. It's just not on here.
It just doesn't show it.
Don't show it.
I hate to see that much.
Mhm.
I haven't heard on every gate. I wonder if there much of a panel that's gonna get it.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. Rather it's called for, not a different story.
It's all fine. Our president is gonna be going down to Texas.
We'll fix it all.
Only took him 2 weeks.
All these people are out of jobs because of the pipeline and everything else. And now the price of fuel is going up. There's no way, a lot of those people are gonna win. No way, they're gonna, it's not even that.
It's unreal.
It's unfair.
They showed all the pipe on the East Coast. That's up for sale now. Because the company bought that, was ready to install it, and that's up for sale. That company will be gone.
Biden's gonna find all new jobs.
Yeah.
Making,
Well, did
solar panels.
the governor of what, South Dakota or something like that put something out there that whatever he does can affect them? He did an
Yeah,
executive order.
Yeah, that governor, she's a pretty sharp lady.
Yes, he did an executive order that whatever he does not affecting them, so they can keep
They're
on
moving on.
supposedly. And I think Texas doing the same thing for the oil and gas exploration, whatever.
I think there's some other governors, other generals
Well, they better,
getting in on
they
it.
better get started.
And when's Kansas gonna do this?
Well, we should, because that pipeline was coming through Kansas.
Yeah.
It was going to affect us.
Yeah, go do that, Garnet.
It was going to affect us.
Yeah.
Did you guys see on the agenda that, the people coming in, it has to do with something they're providing for Wolf Creek, a bid they're giving to Wolf Creek.
Oh, that cross-country lines, transmission lines?
Yeah, so.
I'm glad we put them on the agenda so we can hear what they gotta say.
Yeah, just go crazy. Well,
That never hurts to listen, especially when they said they was doing a job in the area.
Yeah.
I do know the generators out there north end of Wolf Creek were sure running during the cold snap.
Okay.
Mhm.
those are Four Rivers.
Yeah, they had them 100.
I saw an article on Facebook last night, a guy I know who used to work at the plant said how Wolf Creek really was working well through the cold weather. It's a really good article, actually, talking about nuclear power and all that.
Weather doesn't, I didn't have no humming
Weather
in my
doesn't
house
affect it.
for a week,
They got
a
quiet.
week and a half.
Weather doesn't affect nuclear power.
No. A good thing it would.
I try to keep track of down in Texas, as I got friends down there, but there's no other map on whose fault it was. One was Ted Cruz for going to,
Well, because he went to Mexico,
it's like,
they're just mad he did.
like Mother Nature, yeah. The plan is, it can't just be Mother Nature's fault, The stuff happens, velocity is out the window anymore. It's
Yeah,
always somebody's fault.
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
There's people out there just left to blame for everything.
I bet I haven't watched the news in 2 months.
I need to learn that.
It's easy. You just don't turn it
You
on.
just turn it off, that's why you just,
When it comes on, you go somewhere else.
I sit there and then I'll flip and then I'll think, I'll just watch it for a minute, it won't affect me.
They're just too double standard.
And turn around.
Where else can you turn it though if it's in a value?
oh, Discovery Channel.
John Wayne,
Well,
John Wayne,
Either Inspiration Channel, they have all
Yes.
kinds of movies.
yes.
I go to Netflix. I just-
you go what, Justin?
Netflix or Yoo-hoo or Yoho or whatever the
Alright.
heck it's called.
I'm handing you out the number of employees that are receiving a stipend There's about 24.
Let's see, I was gonna
You know, not watching the news.
Angie, I'm not,
I,
you might ask me.
I used to watch stuff.
I'm not
Well, I
sure.
used to watch the news mags. I used to watch Fox.
No, she-
Then
you're correct.
I just got over
I
that.
had a
And you don't care about
invoice
seeing
earlier,
it.
I gave it away.
And I started
He
watching
took
news.
the invoice, so you
Well, I couldn't
Okay.
stomach the,
Which one was it?
because they're pretty conservative news station. I couldn't even stomach it. That's all I was with.
Have you?
All right, we've
I
got
did
to
it
make
for-
sure those
It
are
was
all.
for, Emerson County Hospital.
Okay. Well, yeah.
He took it, he's gonna take
Did
it.
you sign this yet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, you'll sign that. I'm gonna keep this, because I need to read all this and on it. It's for transport.
Oh, okay.
And it's not-
Oh, okay.
You don't do that, so. This time. Somebody, and you want to go.
All right.
Yeah, you're good. I'm just.
I see.
gonna block those out.
Yeah. I've never looked.
Now the guy we just approved.
Tom, that's the 24 employees that receive a phone stipend. You guys wanted to know that information?
Probably went in here, but
Probably not gonna have to worry about that, are we? Probably not gonna have to worry about that, are we?
No.
So that's in the entire county, that's all, right there.
Invoices are short this week, month.
Yeah. Cold, slow month.
Road and bridge stuff still appears to be short.
Well, we paid for boots and everything for last
Last
year.
There's
Last month,
only
so
one booth this time.
we paid for all that stuff.
Does this include the sheriff's department or is that separate?
No, it's not, it's all departments.
It's all department.
Thank you.
Road and bridge is coming at you.
Okay. I'll wait till they're done for that's this stuff, man.
Sorry, it's taking me a while to read that.
That's fine. That's what you're here for.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there anything you can't buy from Amazon?
I think you can about get anything from that.
Let's see, rebar epoxy paint comes from Amazon. I have no idea what Amazon really is. I just thought it used to be just a,
It's just a distribution
I don't-
for anybody that manufactures something, is all it is.
I let you get it.
it's not really a warehouse place or anything.
Oh, no, it is.
It is?
It is. They're building an Amazon up in Omaha, West Omaha. Huge. It makes a Walmart building up there south of Topeka look like a goose egg.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's accurate.
Yeah, that Amazon building makes it look.
Edgerton. Plant. Yes.
Huge.
I've never used Amazon.
I know we bought quite a bit of toner in for our printer there at the watch fair a month ago. We couldn't find any less than $288. And had a son-in-law, he went on Amazon, bought the whole package deal, all 4 containers, 3 colors, 1 black. Bought all 3, the same size, and everything, $59.95, shipped free.
Yeah.
20% of the, well, less than 25%.
Crazy, huh?
Pardon?
Crazy.
Oh, it is. Cheapest place you can find any place was $288.
Was it name brand or was it off brand?
It was an alt brand, but guaranteed the same, all the same. 2,500 pages per container and all that.
I'll be curious to see if you get out of it what they say, because I know I've ordered off brand before and they weren't near.
We'll find out.
To me, it's better to buy a name brand and get what you pay for than an off brand and get junk.
Well, we're gonna try it once,
Yeah.
that's for
To
sure.
me, it's better to go to a local business and spend it.
Where?
Than buy it off Amazon.
Where?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to find it. I mean, it is.
It is.
For the most part, I do buy as much in-state, if you will, when you want to call that local.
Right, right.
You end up paying local tax anyway,
Exactly.
so it goes to the state.
Now, my wife, on the other hand, UPS has to stop and check on us if there's no package delivered.
My time must be up. Everybody home.
That's road business.
Yep.
You bet there, so I don't get.
Yep.
How this. Sitting here after 10 o'clock. Wondering.
What is that building, that new building that's going up, on the bypass from Topeka? That great big huge.
Walnut distribution.
That's a Walmart distribution too, besides the one in Ottawa?
Mhm.
Okay, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. I think that's like 1,000,000 square feet or something like that.
Tractor supplies, maybe? No.
Gardeners or something.
Yeah.
Where are they out of? I've heard that.
I don't know. I guess they went around buying a bunch of shop codes and putting these stores in.
Where did I hear that horse? Make sure I get this right. Tractor Supply bought out horse ones?
Really?
That's right.
Did I hear that correctly?
Has somebody bought Orson out?
Yes, Tractor Supply Company,
Oh, Tractor? They
TSC.
bought all their locations?
Yep,
You know, that takes the bucks. Cause I don't know how many locations Orson's got.
Bond Gardeners, I've heard of them, but I can't place.
Was he hiring an economic development director?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't pull it up. I've been by one of their stores.
It's supposed to be like a,
Like a Tractor Supply or
Yeah.
something.
Good.
It's like a, well, Rhonda described it as like a blue stem farm ranch thing.
Good.
It's a little bit of everything.
Glad to hear it.
Me too. Me too. And it wasn't like Shopco was doing horrible from what I hear. They just,
No,
corporate
I-
decision just to shut it down.
I got used to it coming down.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
They're the only ones that carried the shoes that I like, tennis shoes. We shopped there quite a bit.
Wasn't that the only place we could get clothes in Coffee County, really?
My knowledge.
Jeans?
Unless you go to Vintage Sisters. They've got t-shirts and sweats and stuff.
Yeah. And all in Coffee County.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Well, with the new store coming in, you'll be able to.
Yeah. Things like horsemen and tractor
Mhm.
supply,
Mm-hmm.
boots, jeans.
Yeah.
That may not be a good thing. These, I think all of them are under
This one page here.
that.
Oh.
When I got them,
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I think it just explains all of it. That's the way I took it. When I got it in a pile,
I think this is the first time I've seen this.
here was a paper clip, it may have came off of the one pile,
It was a pretty good pile of paper.
and all this stuff underneath that one was just explanations for the thing above it, wasn't it?
I think so, Bob.
Okay, that's what it was. And
I know that first bunch, I tried to flip them over so they stayed in complete order.
I think that's what they were. So is this a new business looking at the old Shopco building? Is that a farm store type?
That's what I hear, farm and ranch type stuff. Kind of like a blue stem or.
Maybe they had to have clothes and that might be a plus.
What's the roof like on that shop? I never went on it.
Not very good.
I heard the roof on it.
I have no idea. No, I've been there.
I hadn't heard anybody.
I don't know if it's place, United places or Shopco, well, I was in there one time and they had a lot of plastic tubs
Hey,
there.
that's everything. Is anybody really at the Walmart building? I never heard of one, somebody lives right here.
I don't know what Bernie do.
There's people going in and out of Shopko building yesterday.
There's that big foot.
It wasn't big enough, I think.
I'm gonna have to look in my office, see if I have that book draft Jesse held up.
I got him a copy. I got him.
Okay, well, I guess what I'm saying is I gotta
Not really good.
refresh my memory. I think mine's in my office. I just have to move down here, I start taking everything.
Okay.
I got a separate
Is it?
pile on my desk.
I can run.
I know it's nice and neat,
Neat.
pretty, but is there need to have
I've got
a
it
piece of
on my
paper
computer.
taped to a receipt? Instead of just having the receipts?
I think they're just trying to keep it all the same size where it's easier to handle.
Maybe.
Yes, it's-
I mean, it looks nice,
Yeah,
but
I think they're just trying to equalize the size and makes it, as a group, it does make it handle a little better.
it handles better.
I don't think they were doing that until up to last.
They didn't start that until a couple of
I
years
bet,
ago.
yeah, I was gonna say 6 months, but I,
It's been longer than that,
Do they have to keep those in files?
we were
Well, they
upstairs.
keep receipts in files, but do they have to attach a piece
I
of
don't know,
paper
just
to it?
somebody came up with.
you get a small receipt, it's not all that bad, it's stuff.
This right.
Can
A lot of those could be.
It's just a way
That's what
to.
you end up though, and the sheriff does it.
I know.
Oh, it's paid.
It don't make any sense.
Okay.
No, we'll do that till,
I've got a container, 40-foot container full of
6 or 7.
stuff.
Well, you would.
7 years.
We got 7 trucks. I can't imagine what you could do. And the DOT records.
Mhm. And the first thing we had logbooks, weekly logbooks. You have to keep them up.
Oh, yeah.
With that.
All that. People don't realize.
This is where I started.
A lot of it based on miles and time or just hours.
Well, hours, I mean, you
Hours.
can only
You can
average
get
so
so-
many hours.
You can only get so many miles in an hour.
Go to the-
You can also get checked by that too.
That's what I wondered though, because if you had 8 hours and you had 400, 600 miles, and then you didn't mean.
Yeah, there've been tickets issued like that.
Yeah, that's what I wondered, and so they actually, it's not what before, but they use them for that.
Yeah.
the biological
It's called
grant.
averaging speed that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That would be under 50.
We don't have to worry about that anymore. Thank God.
Do you remember the address of the Penske?
No, that guy here that did it. Don's probably got it.
What's that?
The address of that
Do
Penske.
Oh, I do.
You have the address of that Penske? I just,
I haven't done the correspondence yet. but I'm
I'm just
hoping,
trying to think of where that
I'll make sure and get you
Bill,
a copy of it.
Jack, but Bill's place somewhere. Isn't it?
If you want, I can get it and write it down for you, if you wanna go out and buy it or something.
Would you please? Yeah, if I'm just out feeling, I'm gonna drive by it, get out and look, but I just drive by it to general location where we're at going.
Okay.
It's south of the Hall Summit Road. A mile off of,
And
Who's the other-
fair
who's the
amount of
other
reimbursement for
landlord?
shields.
Williams.
No, they're allowed to spend it.
Right, okay, I was just wondering, because one of them was 169 and the
Okay,
reimbursement.
I think I know approximately where it is, yeah.
So that's what I was wondering,
Yeah,
it was
they
a
get
max.
150.
It's a max rate,
Yeah.
max.
Yeah.
that is correct.
Okay, I think I know.
Right now, it's right back there. Where my directions are anymore, go past that old house and,
The old Paso House, second drive on the west.
yeah. That's fine.
That's where your directions used to be.
They go right up the big maple tree, oak tree.
That's a person you're telling me.
Yeah,
That-
it's
that-
not there
that
anymore.
they're in
It
great
was that once upon a time.
I used to work at the REC before we had road addresses and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And actually, yeah, when I worked the post office started there, we didn't have roads, we didn't have addresses either.
But we do
It
interviews.
was just route box, went route 29, said 87.
What's your
What year did we put up signs
Yeah, we have
to
them
the
in the day.
main streets?
Gonna try to do that 15.
You
2
know,
o'clock. I gotta get going there.
what year did we go to 911?
I have no.
What year did we,
That's all.
George Mills was here when we did it, went to the roads.
Literally
Oh,
90s.
1980. Are you talking about mid
When we went to, when we adopted road
Whether
names.
we review them,
That's
We've
assuming
looked this
that
up
this
before.
is gonna be.
We've looked at that before.
Oh, we had,
to me. we probably
but
do
George
it
Mills
after
was
the-
here because he's the one that actually
But we got
In the 80s.
made the names.
Thanksgiving too.
You guys actually did it in the eighties.
70s.
We just do it another time.
It wasn't in the 70s,
When
I
it
don't
went,
think.
when you had the 911 address,
When we went to roads.
I'm gonna say late 80s, early
I know
90s.
15th for me.
Because I was on the fire department being the third,
Okay,
but
very
that's,
good.
I mean, when the 911 was coming.
Maybe I'm thinking of the road, when they made the road bridge department. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, because it was after that, I think.
That's probably right, that's the colors.
It was 79 when we went to County Road Bridge, wasn't it?
I need all those notes for historical.
But when you did the 991,
We always gotta educate the new cement truck drivers when they come to this county. For whatever reason, it didn't compute the numbers run east-west and names run south and start alphabetically and numerically.
and then if you're on 16th Road, it's still confusing
Yeah.
because it's half a mile off.
Yeah. You can still hear them driving down the gravel road about a half a mile away or so, going the wrong direction. I got Renee right here at the Manchester project really.
What projects you looking at there?
Her name's Joanne. Can't remember the last name right now. She needs a little retaining wall. No, that'd be a residential thing.
Joanne. Oh, no, one Joanne Freeman, but she wouldn't be a retention wall. Well, you're not too far on bringing the crew back to work.
Actually, I got half of them up at Autumn at Monticello. Bring the rest in tomorrow.
And say this next 8 or 10 days. Probably 4 concrete over there.
We got a side of the paving job at Wolf Creek to do. Been right in there, busy.
And there's diesel injector now, $600. One.
Sorry?
Diesel injector, $600 now.
Mm-hmm. Things are moving up.
We got one truck at 55,000 miles, so there's in Oklahoma City, it sounded like you got off the back of hammers in the motor. Moved to Wichita and put a long block in it. Truck now is going through 2 gallons of coolant a week. Have it in Emporia. Now they're putting another long block in it. Luckily, Packard's covering all of it, but, yeah. The same truck, 2 motors.
Do they warranty those?
Mm-hmm.
You're selling it?
Well, hopefully eventually. It's got a new motor in it now.
Here we got MFA propane, delivered on 126 at $1.55 a gallon from MFA. We got delivered from Moore on 2.5 for $1.30.
MFA's new price, it's not contracted right now, it's $1.55.
What was the price for more?
Moore's was $1.30, and MFA was that, MFA was $1.55.
2.5?
I'd almost bet you more,
25 cents.
I bet more is a contract. It's at the road and bridge.
I gave it,
I know MFA's currently, their new price today is $1.55.
I don't know when, but
Contract on the MF, because I've got my contract, and it is $1.27. I was saying that same thing. That's like the diesel, there's 2 different diesel deals in there, one from 2 different businesses. There's about a 40-cent spread. If you look at it real close, and one of them's both diesels are clear, and on the other one, both diesels are dyed. And so, but didn't know the net difference between being dyed and undyed. But there is a pretty good spread on that, but I'm not sure it is anymore.
Well, died.
50 cents difference.
Well, it's 40 cents here, about 35 or 40. They got some I forget the business. One of them was from the co-op that they run, and the other one was, I forget it. But there's 30-some cent spread, but there is 50 cents difference between dyed and clear now.
Yeah,
I think the difference on those other boys is 40.
Well, here, I've heard, so that's number one clear, number two clear.
And see, the other invoice
That's
is for
40
clear.
cents. That's 40 cents.
I didn't realize it was 50 cent spread. But that's quite a bit more spread than what it was 20 years ago.
I purchased my propane on the 3rd. $1.20.
$1.20. Is that a contract?
No. That was more.
That's more?
Yeah. I got it.
He evidently bought a lot of stuff up front. Evidently.
The man's expanded out. He goes a long ways now.
We've got 2 tanks over there, but we know,
I think he runs 2 trucks now too, then.
I think his son's driving.
His wife drives one all the time.
Does she?
Oh, yeah, she has for quite a few years.
I didn't know that.
I think she's probably in one as much or more than what Doug is. I'm not sure the son does too much, because they run quite a few cattle.
Okay.
And that the son, I think, takes care of a lot of cattle.
So his tank is at Ridley.
2 of them. See, they got the second one approved here about a year or 2, maybe 2 years ago, when they came before the planning board to get the second one.
He's got a little drive from there to Waverly, don't he?
Doug covers pretty, he comes through Leroy, I know. I don't know how many customers he's got east of Leroy, but
I know he's got some in Garnett.
there's gotta be pretty good margin in that.
Towards Ottawa, wake up close to Ottawa.
There's gotta be pretty good margin in that.
He's expanded out the last.
There's gotta be pretty good margin in that propane if they couldn't do it.
I gave 3 different people his number.
You been getting it from him for a while?
4 years,
4.
seems right.
Yeah.
Really won't.
I've been getting it from him 30, close to 30 from him.
We get you from Bob.
Doug.
We get mine from him, like the driver's the same driver works for me, they're co-op for a lot of years, so. If they're fairly competitive, I'll stay with them because of more from driving the truck.
Used to get it from Ian Boyce.
I'm sorry.
I used to get it from Ian Boyce.
Yeah. See, we bought the invoice out there for a 5-year period,
Ian quit, went to Doug.
and we could get cash flow, but we couldn't reach our objectives. We sold back the I think Jim was still involved in it at that time. I know Jim was half owner when we bought it.
Jim was EM, wasn't it?
Pardon?
GM actually was EM. EM backed it. Was the
I don't know all the details.
EM was Jim, basically, or Jim was EM.
EM was a great.
I think he told me by the time he had like 20 different businesses.
Who did?
Ian Boyd.
EM, he was involved with other stuff. I've been with EM up quite a bit. He's a great guy to visit with.
Mhm.
Had a good business head on it.
EM is responsible for the north part of Strawn, New Strawn, whatever they call it, snobby, whatever they call it there. He did all that. I designed all that. Golf course and all that.
Owned the bank at the time too.
And there where the dentist office and all that is, he was responsible for a restaurant downstairs and owned a bunch of that. I think he might have owned those buildings there.
At one time.
They're the same thing.
He's at a sand plant.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
He jumped into a lot of
That sand plant wasn't on from very
things.
Or they run out of sand or run out of place to sell or what.
I think it, you know, saying, I think it was that much air, has that much area.
They've got pretty good hole there, but.
Where was it at?
Pardon?
Right.
It's east of Burlington here, about 2.5 miles on the south side. Beyond, what, 15th Road or something?
No,
Could be 11th.
11th. Right off that.
They may have operated that 3 or 4 or 5 years, I don't recall.
Steve and boy said, could never go on a trip with the old man where you didn't have to stop and talk to somebody for about 2.5 hours about something.
I don't remember the same plant. Was there something going on at the time they needed sand?
I don't-
Opened that up.
I don't recall.
Didn't they deliver the Sylvan Bar for the concrete?
Sylvan down there, could have been.
I don't recall.
Could
I
have
was,
been.
I was just a kid, but that's the way I remember it.
Could have been. He had something with somebody going, the reason he did it.
I think there was.
I'm pretty sure.
Now, there's another guy stories about it.
Who owns that sand plant area there?
Nelson,
Pardon?
Nelson.
Well, Nelson's got that sand plant area
But they did, unless they sold
in
it.
between Freeman and Williams. Well, Nelson's got a little farm in the south. I
They
didn't really.
own the Tice Lake.
Pardon?
They own the Tice Lake. too.
Yeah, they've got a whole, I didn't know they had a sand plant,
I believe so.
but that's coming in between
that in?
the Freeman's
Oh, I've
and the
got it.
Williams property.
Yeah, I think they, I don't know how they acquired it, but they got it.
Right there, right there.
There's probably a wildlife or a water fountain use that sand plant.
I used to water ski in classes like,
Yeah, that had to be back 25, 30 years ago.
no, it's
For
a
a
lot
long
more years than that. It was more like 55, 60 years ago.
In Road and Bridge Building.
Mhm.
Alright. I gotta go there.
Everybody done? Anybody got anything for roundtable? Start with Angie,
I do not.
Timothy,
We
Tim.
kinda handled mine both today.
I just had a phone call today about county commissioner secretary's position. Not in favor for replacement, but that's all I have.
Out of nothing.
The only thing I have, since we're gonna be discussing our benefit package here in the next 3 or 4 weeks, longevity pay, can we get a copy of what that, I don't really need a breakdown for employer or not, but a copy of that cost
Yes,
and where they fall in place, Angie, for the aid?
we can run it out easy.
I'm sorry,
We can run a copy out for you easy.
kind of figured you probably could.
Yes.
If we're gonna reevaluate something totally, then we've only got 3, in the study that she did, there's only 3 comparables, only 3 counties doing it. I'd like to see what ours looks like totally.
We can give you their years of service and where they're at right now.
I think we have to evaluate, we need to look at it, so,
That's it.
yeah, yes.
I don't have anything. Brad, you got anything?
Nope.
11:21 till Monday morning.
Have a safe day, guys.